Breaking up the space, from the shadows we rise into the light, bringing you the news, sparking the fight. What's hidden from you, we're here to expose. With every report, our passion grows. Journey down the rabbit hole. We choke in again, Luke in control. Every twist and turn, we dig for the gold, holding power accountable, brave and bold. Hey, don't get none on you, just stay awake. Join the ride with us for the truth's sake. We ride like thunder across the airwaves. Revolutionary spirit, that's how we behave. Join our crew of seekers, we'll never be tamed. Digging deeper, not just chasing fame. In this crazy life, we stand and fight. The truth is our weapon, shining so bright. Through every struggle, we'll never fold. Join the journey, let the story unfold. Journey down the rabbit hole. We choke in again, Luke in control. Every twist and turn, we dig for the gold, holding power accountable, brave and bold. Hey, don't get none on you, just stay awake. Hey, join the ride with us for the truth's sake. So gear up, my friends, it's gonna be wild. With Joe Slick leading, you'll be beguiled. The truth is waiting, don't miss the call. Like Joe says, rise up, we'll break down the wall.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Joe Slick Live, the morning report. The morning report is specifically part of our show where we talk about earth science and the things of that nature, and how your world and the world around you can affect you. This is exclusive to that subject matter. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Looking at space weather right now. Solar wind right now, 623. Proton density is 2.46 per cubic centimeter. C8 and a C3 flare in the last 24 hours. We do have one little booger that's a sunspot that has power for an X. And guess what? It's right below us. Oh, it's what created the X flare that we had here not too long ago, a couple of days back. Here's the X, what is it, X 1.53 and the highest? Yeah, 1.53, I guess. Yeah. And then here we are today. Right now, we just had a C9 or C3.9. Yeah, it's nothing, man. Yesterday, we had a couple of C's, C8, and a couple of other C's. Nothing. You can see the trend came as this sunspot came around the corner. It went banga, 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 and we got a little M1, right? And then it kind of died down, and then boom, blew up, and we got that X1, and then it's dying down, and now it's starting to pick up again. And let me show you that trend, how that starts to work. So here it is, the booger, and here we're all right about here. These other sunspots are active, and they do, create little issues, but nothing real terribly right now. Looking at the solar wind, push play on this, and you'll see that it bounces between 400 and 600 kilometers a second. Proton density drops from 4 to all the way down to 2. Standoff distance is between 9 and 11. That means the solar wind's pushing with some protons, and our magneto field, right, is bouncing quite a bit. And the dynamic pressure, check out that. It's near 1, a little over 1, 1.2, 1.3, 2. I saw a 2 in there. And that's what we're going to talk about real quick here. So I just want to show you that. Right now, the planetary K index right now is storm. We have a geomagnetic storm hitting the planet right now, and it has been doing so since about 6 o'clock. I told you there was going to become two dingers. Yeah, the first one came in real quick, died down, and then now we're in the second one, which is starting to die out. Started about 6 o'clock. Here we are. The last time it looked at was 12, and we're like 1,500 hours right now. Okay, so looking at the dynamic pressure from the sun as it bounces, you can see there's some red around our planet, right? That's the pressure from the wind and the helium and hydrogen isotopes that are charged up, being shot out from the sun upon us. It comes in waves, as you can see. Here we see the more whiter, the less protons, and the more bluer, the more protons. So if I pushed play on that one, stop that one, you'll see it comes in waves, right? Drops out, and all of a sudden came right back. And you can see how it kind of bends in. These are computer generated, right? To see what we're flying through space, and we're hitting the solar wind and what's coming out of the solar wind, all right, upon our planet. Here's the velocity. The more red, the higher, or the lower velocity, right? Or yeah, more. I think it's more. Yeah, more darker red, more velocity. And you can see how it plays on the backside of our planet here, right? You see how it pulls back the L shells, and then boom, they come back. That's how come we can get a solar blast of wind on one side of the planet that can affect the backside of the planet. You know, it's kind of like a baseball going through space, you know. So looking at the sun currently, and here's the blast that happened. Boom! I mean, I don't know if that's on our side of the planet, or on the back side of the planet yet. Hard to tell right now. But if I went here and checked it out, let's go ahead and check this one out. The angstroms here, and push play on this. See, it looked like it popped off from up here. Let's see. There's some. Here's that X flare down here. That X flare producer down here. Maybe it's from up here that popped off. I'm not sure. Let's see. Looking for a bright light. There's a little bright. Oh, there was a little something that let loose. There's a little binger that popped off. A couple of them. There's a filament that let loose. Oh, poop. There you go. Right? So that's interesting. So you saw a filament take off, right? And they had to stop it because there was a blast toward this camera. We can see this one. A little popper. Then you can see a filament jumping off the sun over there. So here we are watching it again. That one right there, it just kind of let off something. And if we looked at, see right now we're approaching something here. Okay, it's already turned off, so go look at it 6 hour. Yeah, it's already peaked out at a C3, almost a 4. That big old blast. I'm not sure where that's gone. Let's go ahead and look at what NOAA has to say as a result of it. The predictive values. Watching the disk here. There's the blast. That's a new blast, and another one right after. So they're looking around the 4th. For it to go north. There's 3 of them. All right. So boom, boom, boom. They're out in front. We're getting a little bit of solar wind. Should be almost 800 by the 4th. There's the blast that took place, and another one behind it, which kind of separates. So it's going to hit Mars, or whatever that other red button here is. I don't know if that's Mars. It's something. Satellite. I think it's a satellite. It's going to pummel a satellite here on the 4th. Now they're seeing that the plasma is really not. Remember how they were saying it's going to be a peak on the 1st? Well, they kind of lowered it, and now there's another one coming from this one. And it is out in front of it. It'll catch the tail end of it. Stereo A is going to get pummeled. That's what stereo A is, the red one. It'll get pummeled on the 4th and 5th, again on the 6th to the 7th. Solar wind velocity will kick up near 800. You can see it's out front right here. We'll just get the tail of it. So that's the predictive values. So in this blast here, we'll watch. We already saw a dying comet go into the sun the other day. Here's that big blast that went out in front. It's not a halo, so it's not Earth directed. It's out in front of us. And, well, it is kind of a halo, so it's going to catch a little bit of us. Let me see that again here. It started here and then went here and then exploded out this way. And you can see the halo all the way around. But primarily the strength is out in front. You see how it's moving all the way around us? Yeah, pretty good little halo right there. Soon well, I don't know if that's it, but no, it's not. We'll be seeing a comet go around the sun. The other day, watching that one die into the sun was pretty cool. But there'll be more, baby. There'll be more. So we looked at the geometric stuff. Okay, the planetary kinetics we looked at. And we looked at the solar wind and its effect. Artemis space weather forecast. Minor G1 geomagnetic storms underway, and the Earth moves through the wake of a CME that struck on April 1st. Artemis 2 is orbiting Earth within the storm. This should cause no problems, though. The storm is a minor one, which is good for them. The crew might see some auroras if they look toward the poles in the night. Mm-hmm. Sun grazing comet update. Soho 3 will see a sun grazing comet, CO26A1. And ding, 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 ding. So you'll see here on 4-3, which is tomorrow, it'll be coming in. And then by 4-4, it'll be, near the sun, and it will go out, right? So we'll be seeing that. Was there a no. Thought it might have been a movie. Yeah. The auroras right now way up to the north. Another polar vortex is on its way, and it will be affecting the United States, so we'll be talking about that in a minute. Pardon me while I need some water. What we have is a coronal hole right here. It's going to give us some wind, and that's probably what's happening right now. Not too many fireballs in the sky today or last night. There's been a few. Some of them were visible during the day. They were so bright. Fireballs are pieces of comets and debris that are brighter than Venus. Hold on a second. All right, apologies. Planet Class M chance is 55%. Class X is at 15%. That's a rise from 5%. Okay? Now we're at 15%, and the sucker's directed right at us. Which one is it? Well, that's 4405. We're right here. This sucker has potential. It has a beta, gamma, delta magnetic field, meaning it's really unstable. The positives and negatives, ions and energy levels are kind of jostling back and forth, whereas all these are relatively stable. This one is not. And so it can pop off something pretty big. The size of Earth is about this little piece here. So if we're right here, and this thing's right here, watch out, baby. 2,349 potentially hazardous asteroids that we watch. There are other asteroids, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Potentially has asteroid or a thaw, or space rocks larger than 100 meters, and that come closer than 0.05 AU or 5 million miles, right? Or it's actually 19.5 a million kilometers, or yeah. And let me see how long. 19.5. 19.5 divided by 1.6. About 12 for that one. So it's 384,401 multiplied by 19.5. It's about 7 million kilometers away. 1.6 and 4.684 million miles. Okay? So roughly 5 million miles. All right? So we're only looking that distance from Earth toward the sun is these rocks flying around. And that's where the boys in, there's a girl too, are in that spaceship in that area. Ooh. Here we are in the second. Today there are 1, 2, 3, 4 rocks that are substantial. One is 30 foot. The other is 69 foot across. And yet another is 75 foot across. All right. So all of these are further distance away from the rocket ship and its capsule, whatever you want to call it. Those people flying in space, it's further away. Right about what is it? That one is 69 footer is roughly 2 million miles away, or maybe not quite that. Let me tell you how far. It's 8.1. So 8.1 was by 384,401 kilometers divided by 1.9 million miles away. All right. I don't know how far how far is the spaceship? What is it, Artemis 2? How far is Artemis 2 from Earth now? 42,500. Okay. Now we're talking in millions, right? One rock is 1.9 million miles away, and that's 8.1 lunar distances. Okay. All right. So you got it. Another rock is beyond the moon, and it's the same, and it's a 30 footer. And then this big 75 footer is twice that distance. So about 4 million miles away, almost 5. Okay. So those 3 rocks are no danger for the space thing. Maple syrup in space. I don't understand. That's what Canadian guy took with him. Oh, there you go. Is that some sort of sex toy? Are they going to have sex in space? Wow. That was a bad image I had. I don't know why he would take that up in space. There is a lady on that thing out there. Anyway, the world is so full of undigestible crap, right? Looking at the planets today, Burp, 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 burp. Looking for whatever you're looking for. Earth is here. The moon's there. Jupiter's over there. It's getting away from us in the nighttime to see. Mercury's and Venus are, as we look toward the sun, we might see some of these. Saturn is moving away, right? Moving across as the satellite moves this way, right? So, or this way, it's moving here. So we should maybe start to see Venus in some of our LASCO images. You see this is Saturn moving out, and Venus will be moving into view. All right, so as we look toward the sun, for what's what. Uranus is on the other side. I don't know that LASCO will even be able to show it, but it won't be until much more time. Probably, I would say, about here, which would be 426. So somewhere out there, 420 time. Hey, maybe that's what they're doing up there. Maple syrup cookies. Mm-hmm. See, he has special cookies. All right. There's Denise's lizard bouncing through the screen. Yeah, if you're a VIP here, we only get 50 VIPs on the channel. And to be a VIP, you have to be a contributor, both financially and or conversely, is being part of those in chat. So if you don't have a VIP status, which most of the ones here that we see online on average do, that's because you don't contribute. How to contribute? Well, you can type the word or type the, what is that, a symbol, right? Exclamation point TIP, right? Inside of here on Joe Slick Live on Twitch. And or you can go to streamelements.com/Joe Slick Live /TIP and send a gratuity. Or you can send some biddies like Dub did, or as you're signed in here on Twitch, or you can subscribe to our channel here on Twitch. How to find us is twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live, and you can do that. Appreciate all your chips and your subscriptions and your follows. We are also on YouTube, so let me find that channel for you. View your channel. Hey, come on now. Why is it moving so slow? This is what. Oh, la 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 la. What the heck is going on? We've got some sort of talking over us. There we go. This is Polar Vortex coming in back. I was telling you about. Here's the Joe Slick Live channel. The home channel, you can see that there are a few deals here. Under videos, like yesterday, the breaking news video, 7.4 in the Molucca Sea, I showed that one 15 hours ago. Little 32-minute dinger that happened. The morning reports are also posted here. I'm starting to get more disciplined and posting those. If you missed any part of the morning report, just the morning report, not the morning show, just the morning report, because most people who are here, they just want to hear what the earthquake's happening, and you'll see that out there. You can see that the very rare earthquake that happened in the Malaysia quakes. Also, when we do rabbit holes, you can see I posted here when Canuck is able to come back, we'll be able to do that as well. And you can support the channel and by looking at that. We're also over on Rumble. You can find us over there as well. So the same rabbit hole is also on Rumble. All right. There you have it. There you have it. So going on to the next doohickey here, looking at the tremors in the Pacific Northwest. I'd look at them all over the place, but I don't have a link for that. There's quite a bit more. 423 tremors now along the Cascade Range here in the West. What does that mean? Well, yeah, it's kind of hard to say, right? Well, what does it mean? A lot of vibration down in California. Why? Why in the Trinity National Forest, right next to, right up here is Shasta right there. Lassen's right here, right? Then down here, the bottom of the Cascades is Sutter Butte, right? That's a volcano. Didn't come all the way through the surface. It just kind of rose up and went, and out it went. But we do have a lot of vibrations in California. Also in Oregon, right here by Eugene, and then way up in Seattle and Vancouver. Now, if this was going on up here more, we would say, hey, what? And so I think if we went back a day, search, right? Is that the same? I don't know if that's the same. Search. Yeah, you can see it hasn't changed. Oh, here we go. Vibrations happening all the way from the weekend, moving up the coast, moving all the way up into Vancouver. Well, you know, what's been happening around your world? Well, think about it. We can go over to the USGS, and I'll put a little terrain on there for you. Then I'll do a search. I'll go 7 days above 7.45. All right? Well, we had a Thambathithko earthquake of 4.6. Boulder Creek, place I used to live. Yeah, I used to live, actually I lived out here by the country club. But this one on Boulder Creek. Now, Boulder Creek is a mountain range that you remember the World Series earthquake? Mm-hmm. Right up in here. All right. Also, that's a quake I called for, but didn't say. I thought it was going to be a little about a 6. I didn't realize it's going to be a 4.5, but it happened. Several earthquakes in the last week down here in Mexico and Central America. Also out here in the Virgin Islands, right? The UK and US Virgin Islands. So there's activity moving along this plate and moving along this plate. Also in Peru, had a pretty good 6.0, right? Central Peru. Actually, it'd be closer. Is it? Yeah, it's Central Peru because Ecuador is just a little bit north of it. Ecuador's up here and Colombia's up here. All right, so Venezuela's way up here, right? And Brazil is out here, right? So you can see where we're at. Zooming back out, look at what's happening over on the western portion of the Pacific Plate. Wow. A couple earthquakes down here in the Kurils, 5 points, or Kemetic, sorry. Starts with a K, right? Up here is the Kurils. But look at this line of earthquakes. Look at this line of earthquakes. Hey, what is that? What's meaning there? How can we interpret that? Well, let's go ahead and look at this. We can see that the direction of the plate is going in that direction, okay? In this southern section. So moving back over here, we can see the plate moving in that southern direction. That's why we got quakes looking like that. So, what do you mean? It means that this entire plate, the Pacific, the South Pacific, North Pacific, the West and the East, all of this is on the move, and it's moving in that direction. In that direction. And right now, the Kermitic Trench is getting smacked around. The Tonga Trench, getting smacked around. Also, when we look over to near Vanuatu, shoot howdy, there's a pretty darn big quake right there, 7.3. We know about the big quake that we had here, but we have to go back just one more day. The only way to do that is to go 30 days out, and you'll see it right there, right? So this one happened about 8 days ago. It happened on the 23rd of March. This started breaking free, then this. And look at this line of earthquakes. This line of earthquakes. This line of earthquakes, right? You can tell it's pushing in that direction. Now we have this big monster, 7.3, right? Shortly thereafter, this one happened on May 30. So the other one happened, what day was that? The 23rd? Yeah, 23rd. 7 days later, this one bonged off. And then last night, or yesterday, we had this banger, a 7.4. It came in as a 7.8. However, it's a 7.4. Got downgraded. So lots of normal earthquakes happen around it, you know, as we learn that these plates, these lines here dictate which plate it's on, right? So if we looked at this, we would look down here and we'd look over here. And what's interesting about the Molucca Sea, I'm going to see if I can zoom in for you here. Here we go. Let's just take a quick gander at it, right? All right, so the big 7.4 happened right down in here. So, no, actually right here on that blue line, right? That's the Molucca Sea. That's where the big 7.8 happened. 7.4 got downgraded. Here's Halmahera, Bird's Head, and then here's Sulawesi. The Molucca Sea is right down here and here. So this subduction zone is actually kind of unique. I've seen some other people talking about it, and I wanted to bring it to your attention as well. What's unique about it is we got the Sing, right? There's an E there. And then the other plate, which is, oh, what the hell is this? Anyway, and then it's up like this. There's subduction coming down this way, a subduction coming down this way, and this part is lifted up. But what's happening is all of this is going down. So the Molucca Sea will disappear between this, between Sulawesi and right here, Sulawesi and Halmahera. They'll either go down with the trench or they will be joined together in that region. Why is that important? Well, look at the direction of the 92. See how it's moving? It's moving quick. What? All right, remember what we talked about just a few minutes ago? 94 moving? It's moving in the same direction. Oh, well, what about the earthquake that happened in the middle? Well, the Australian plate is diving underneath Vanuatu. And it's moving due north. But all of this is being pushed together in that direction, right? So we had a big 92 right here, right? Pushing up 8.8 that happened up here. Be safe, sister. We love you. Praying for you. Prayed for you. Expect good results. All this pressure move in this direction. What hasn't popped and we've seen it move all over up here. We've seen a couple earthquakes here. We've seen a lot of fives here, a lot of fives there. We've seen several sevens up here. We've seen the volcanoes going off here. We've seen several up in here going off. We've seen large earthquakes out here in the Marianas. All this stuff being shoved. The Pacific Ocean is really, really, really moving. What does that mean over here for the United States? Well, shoot howdy, it's moving in the same direction, just a little slower. However, y'all remember what I showed you on the 7 days? Here, back to the 7-day. Going back over here. What do you see happening here in 7 days? Large earthquakes here, large earthquakes here, one little one here, and one over there. This area is moving. We have one up here that just recently happened. Not so much moving up here. But we've seen vibrations from Vancouver all the way to Northern Cal. Vibrations. That means something, right? That there's movement out there. They're not earthquakes, they're vibrations. What can we surmise? Well, if it's moving in that direction, and we're seeing movement here, right? Moving in that direction. And we got vibrations up here. Can we surmise? We already had a 7 up here. Can we surmise where the next large earthquake will happen? Well, we had a big giant one here. We had a large one. I think it was a 7 up in here. We do have these quakes here, 5s that are happening here, up and along, because this is moving in that direction, right? One area that is of note that gets extremely large quakes is the Nankai Trough. Japan, and when it happens in multiples. It happened in the 1940s. I think that was the last time it really took place. So we are looking in this region right here to have some sort of large earthquake, because it's moving here, it's moved all the way down here, it's moved here, it's moved down here. It's either right through here for a very, very large earthquake, or it can be up in here as well, or somewhere in Indonesia. And unfortunately, it looks like the pressure is moving backflowed. This earthquake that took place a month or near a month ago, what was it, on the 23rd? Yeah, the 23rd. Here we are on the 2nd, so it wasn't that long ago, just about 8 or 9 days ago. And then we had a backflow and another backflow. Pressure, to me, I see it moving counterclockwise through the Pacific plate. I'll see it break and then continue south and break and go around. Some people see it going the other way, but what I think they're seeing is this one created room for this one to create room for this one to create room, so it can all move, or it's being subducted over the top of. So how do I display that? Okay, so here's basically the image, right? So the flow goes this way around, so I'll change colors on that. It goes basically this way, counterclockwise. But what we're seeing earthquake here, and an earthquake here. So that would suggest that this made room for this to move, and then for this to move. And then does it move again up here? Or does it decide to go this way and then go up the Indonesia, and the Indonesia up into, India and Burma and up the China Sea there? Does it move in that direction? And that's how I see it. Mostly you have the maritime continent through here move. It's actually, Yeah, the green is this way. I see it sometimes pressure moving this way and through here and moving on out, right? I don't know if the volcanoes are going to tell us, and what this looks like is right here. The pressure, all this is moving in that direction as this moves there. So if we're getting large quakes here, a likelihood of getting another one in the Andaman Sea or in the Gneiss region, I think is really high. I think also in Nankai Trough, it's really high. Higher than normal, I should say. But we have this triple junction right here does pop off, and we get 7.6s now. In the last 5 years, we've had that. We've had several 7s in the Flores Sea, right? The Banda Sea, the Flores Sea, also the Java. So if I just did a search for you, oh, crapola. There we go. Da-da-da-da. I'm just looking at the historical record to try to make heads or tails by what's going on, right? So if I did 2020 all the way customized and look just at this region here, right? And said 6.5 or greater and search. These are the areas of strength, right? You see more along the Vanuatu and a PNG area. We see along the Philippines, right? We've seen a massive amount of those. That one just happened. We see along this plate boundary, right, in the Java Sea and Flores Sea, the Banda Sea, and we see a few up here, right, in the trench. Not so much up in here. And we haven't seen anything up here. But these are all 6.5s and up. So Taiwan has gone off. Philippines has really gone off quite large. Lately, it's been these ones here. These ones kind of happened over the last couple of years too. These are 5 years, 6 years now. We're looking at a total of 5 years. This one was an anomaly that took place. This 7.0. That was weird. That's a very unusual quake. Normally quakes don't happen like that there. So, kind of strange. Here's the Mandalay Bay. I always wanted to see Mandalay Bay. Mandalay earthquake, 7.7 that took place. What's interesting is if you draw kind of a fat line from here to here to here, or here, to here, and then that other one happened right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one happened late last year. Oh, early last year. About a year ago. Yeah, March 28. And then we have April 1st. Right? And this one, April 30th. And then this one, of course, the 23rd of March. So, bang, 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 over the 1 year. So, newest first, the 7.4. Just watch where they pump, right? That's the newest. And we go backwards in time. Now we're in 6.5s, 7s, right? Can you see a pattern persist? Going back in time. you can see, in my opinion, that it bounces from here to here, back to here to here, back to here to here, bounces up, bounces here, goes here, back to here, back over there. You can see the flow. This flow's a little more active than this flow. And you can see there's more quakes. 6.5 and up over the last 5 years. That's how we kind of say, well, what is going on? For something to move, there's a break, and when it breaks, it allows for something else to move. But at the same time, that energy moves upon another area that pressurizes it, so it's more apt to move. So anyway, that's what's this area and the 7.3 or 7.4 that took place yesterday, that we were looking at right here, which just had another 5.0. Very, very common for a huge earthquake like this 7.4 to have multiple fives, and for an extended period of time. And there is a higher likelihood that something larger will take place. And that pressure, that movement, lays stress on this subduction zone and this subduction zone to take place. Now we jump over to what's going on volcanically. In the news today, according to Volcano Discovery, April 2nd, Fuego, Popo, Simiru, Shivalush, Ibu, Tucono, Reventador, and Mayon. Okay, so Simiru, it is erupting. That's in Indonesia, and I will. What the hell? I don't know why that came up. Pop-ups happen, eh? Simiru was right here. Okay. Santiago, just a little dinger. Santiago. Oh, there's another earthquake that just came in. 5.3. So this is loosening up this plate boundary, right? Down over here in Central America, right? Very small explosion. Shivalush, 48,000 feet out of an 11,000 foot mountain, or high tens, okay? Right here, 48,000 feet. Minus 10, 38,000 above the volcano. All right? That's a pretty darn good pop. That's almost 7 miles high, right? Yeah. Pretty good pomper out there. That's an indication that the subduction zone of Kamchatka, right? Oops, sorry, it's the other way. The Pacific dives underneath Kamchatka, right? And then there's the volcano. What happens is water is brought down, and then it turns into steam, turns into gas. And as it does, it creates, it breaks the rock, melts the rock, and then magma rises, right? And then, poof, it blew out. 38K feet, right? 38,000 foot, boom. Why did I put it out the side? Because that's what Kamchatka does. Blows out the side. So it's been popping for better part since the 8.8 happened. Shivalush has been going. It's pissed off. Right? Ibu, 7,000. Now, Ibu and Dacono both are on Halamarahara, which are right on either side of, no, they're on the one side of this area right here. Right here. Dacono here's, Ibu's here. Right? Listen, they've been popping off more and more this year not 26, but 25. More so than any of the 6 years I've been doing it, wondering what is going on. And we see a lot of activity right through here underneath Philippines of big earthquakes. We also see Canloan, which is, I think, on this island here. We also see, what is it? It starts with M. Mayon, which is erupting as well. And I think that's on this island here. And then we had a 7 right up in here as well, earthquake in the Simar Sea. So Philippines is really, 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 really active. These 2 volcanoes are really active. Karaminsi or Karangatang is on a little island. It's erupting always. So the volcanoes are telling us that shit's happening. Reventador, possible emissions down there in Ecuador, just south of Colombia. Dacono, 8,000 feet again. Boom, 2 hours ago. So on that little island of Halamarahara, right here, just adjacent to where this massive earthquake took place, popping off really strong. Popo, 20,000 feet, and it's always a dimension off sea level. Popo is 17,000 and change. Popping to 20, it's close to a 3,000 foot pop. Sangay over there in Ecuador, still emissions are ongoing. Emissions could be ash, it could be gases, and the like. Same thing for Fuego, which is just by Santa Guido in Central America, Guatemala, for instance. Little Tolo, back in the news with a 6,000 foot. It's a 5,000 foot mountain, and Little Tolo is, look for the seahorse. There's the seahorse. Little Tolo's right there, or one of these 2 little spots. And then Little Toby's right here. This thing popping off, that one's popping off. That tells you that there's pressure being pushed on this subducting plate of the Australian plate coming underneath. And we have interesting dynamics over here. So let's go ahead and check these out for a second. All right, as I zoom in over here. Here's Timor. Here's where the island is, and 2 volcanoes popping off. What we have is a compressional component and a strike slip component, more compressional and spreading ridge, and then subducting here on the far end. The triple junction is right about here. So the purple is compressional, the green is extension. Looking up here, right? Oceanic transform, right? Convergent boundary or compressional. Continental rift is spreading, and then sliding by each other is green. Okay, so the spreading would be red, and convergent would be purple, and side by side is green. So in looking at this, we can see that down here in Timor, side by side is green, compressional is purple, spreading is red, where it's growing in both directions, right? So this compressional component lifting up from the 68 of Australia, pushing up against this, right? And this spreading and this pushing that direction and that direction, right? And we can see everything kind of being, counterclockwise, going down a tube, down a toilet, so to speak. That's the movement of the maritime continent, counterclockwise, and all of these different breaks and shovings and the like. So the Pacific is grinding all this as the Australia comes in and pushes it all, and so there's a big turning counterclockwise of all of these things going down the tube. And so all this pressure moving in. And so the Ryukyu Trench right here, that's what's moving at 48, 103 being pushed down underneath and lifting up and then pushing it into Japan. That's why this area is very, very dangerous, the Ryukyu Trench. All this spreading ridge out here of this rise up and pushing down from the Yangtze plate boundary. That's what we saw, the fives up here. There's like a little compressional component right there. And this area of strikes where the green is, that's where we saw the other series of fives here. So all of this turning. And then on the other side, 46 rising up. And the trend is all of this is moving right through here as the Australian pushes underneath in the Sunda Java Trench. And then you can see all this is moving that direction. So that's kind of the direction of things. So when we see little Tolo bopping off and little Toby bopping off right down in here in Timor, that's due to all this pressure. There's a ton of volcanoes along this Sunda Trench. That's common for that kind of stuff. Semeru is up there in Java, and it's right there in the armpit, and it's still erupting. Shivalush, 32,000 feet. Sabancaya, 19,000 foot. I think this is the tallest volcano on land. In the armpit of South America. Whoops, sorry. I meant to go like this for you. And right up in here, here's the lake. It's right here in this altiplano plate. It's way up there. Excuse me. So that thing's popping off. Mayon is erupting, but it's hard to see it. Popo, we already saw that. Reventador, it there in Ecuador as well. The same. Piton Reunion, new lava flows coming out of it. And where is that? Well, let's go ahead and zoom way over to Africa. And Reunion's over this hotspot right here. That's what an orange means. Hotspot is basically, for those who don't know, you have a landmass at the top, mainly, right? And it's come down, right? And then you have the water that goes around it, right? It's an island, right? And the plate boundary, let's say the crust is this level. And then I probably would have to erase this for you because you don't want to be confused, right? And then I'll erase this from you. So the crust is, generally speaking, 10 kilometers to 45 kilometers in thickness. This would be, this would be like this thick, That's the crust. And this is a pimple on the crust, or the island of the volcano. You can put a little volcano on there if you want. Little, right? Little shooting off there. But what happened is the magma rises up, not from subduction, thus building and coming up, but it rises down from deeper in the mantle, which is the upper mantle and then the lower mantle, rises up with bubbles of magma that come up. And that's a hot spot. And that's what Yellowstone is one of these. And so Reunion is the same. So when we talk about Reunion volcano erupting, that's kind of what we're getting after. New lava flow is moving into the ocean as it rises or rolls down the face of it. Sangay still erupting. And that covers for the volcanoes today. So you can kind of see what's happening in your world around you. Yeah, there are earthquakes happening all around the world, but kind of put it in context. Looking at the 7 days, there's a lot of activity. Back flushing from out here. Large earthquake took place. another large earthquake took place, and then we have this massive earthquake 8.8 that took place on the western side. All of these is letting me believe that the East is making room for something rather large on this half of the Pacific plate. This has to move to get out of its way for this to break. It's the pulling down of the curtain. So what I mean by that is you have a landmass in the curtain, right? This is the Pacific plate going down. This portion of the Pacific plate gets so heavy, right? So heavy that it pulls down. It starts to pull on the plate up here. It makes room for the other side of the plate to move. And then we have this spreading ridge right here along this EPR, the East Pacific Rise, that pulls magma up and creates more land mass. And that's why it's moving so darn fast. It is the largest plate I think in the world, but the North American plate's pretty damn huge too. And Eurasian plate for that matter. But this is moving so fast right now that something's going to break on this end of it. I think on that side, it quite possibly would be a Chile kind of quake, a large quake, maybe even a Mexico or Peru. We've already had a 7 up in here, so the pressure being pushed could be in this region. As we look at northern or more earthquakes today, let's just go all earthquakes today and at terrain. There you go. You can see a line of activity across the U.S., right? You can see it coming out of the Wasatch Mountains into, well, that's odd. We got a couple of earthquakes in middle part of Nevada here. But you'll see Ridgecrest, right? Garlock Fault. You'll see the San Jacinto Fault, not the San Andreas, the San Jacinto, leading out into the desert of Ludlow, small earthquakes, moving up the coast, up where Boulder Creek was again, and then further up north of Boulder Creek, San Lorenzo Park, off the 9. Yeah, I drove that thing so many times. Beautiful area. And then Pacifica, always banging right there. Now the San Andreas goes right through here. Right? If I zoom out, you'll see it. Right? So the Pacific side of the San Andreas is active. Not as much as the other side, of course, because it's grinding up along the North American plate. Now, to see a little bit more, looking into Mexico, right? The Veracruz connection with Oaxaca and Chiapas is still pretty active. Acapulco area and Guerrero, pretty darn active. You have Oaxaca moving in. There's a lot of earthquakes happening around Acapulco. Why there's a major city right there and that's how it's happening, kind of odd. Also leading out from the ocean into Colima would suggest that one thing on this end is a lot. That's the chicken leg moving in, trying to make its way through. That's the Pacific moving on up, taking with it Baja, taking with it Los Angeles to San Francisco, trying to move all of this land out into sea. 10 million years, the whole area will be out to sea. That whole portion, because it's moving a lot faster than North America. The Baja California, Sea of Cortez, whatever you want to call it, may trickle in, may not. I'm not sure, but it's all going to move north. Let's look up at what's at the top in Canada on the west coast, because U.S. doesn't really show that. Here's a nice little earthquake of 4.5 that took place. When did that take place? On the 1st, right? Up in Edmonton. We also had another one right there. Took place on the 1st. Small one. But you can see from Prince Rupert all the way down to Vancouver Island, and then it just kind of takes a left turn and goes in. So it's like, we're just not seeing anything really. You can see how it also comes back down. That's an explosion there. From Seattle all the way into this explosion there toward Mount Hood, right? And Packwood 2.4. That's a 0.6. Seattle dinging off at a 1.8. So you saw the earthquakes come down the line, make a left-hand turn right here, and then go inside. We see this Edmonton one. Now we look up here in Alaska. Smaller earthquakes on this side. A concentration of earthquakes right here in the Cook Inlet, of course. Also down in this end. So somewhere down here could pop pretty good size. Sea of Okhotsk has a 4.8, and then off of Japan a 5.0. We do have one near off Guam or the Northern Marianas, a 5.3. But that just lets us know the whole area is moving. In China, there's a 5.2, and then over here in Greece, we do have a 4.6 and a 4.3. So, yeah, there's one just south of Djibouti, 4.4. But this area of concentration could be that I would call this a liniment, because they're all happening along the same line. Where it's going to break, I don't know. But right now it's stuck in the Malacca Sea. And the more it bangs, the more it sends out tension to everywhere around it. And it could be along the Java Trench, the Java Sunda Trench, or it can continue down this way. Excuse me. Yep. So that's what we have here on tap for today. Looking at your weather, the storm index is saying up in Wisconsin, that area is pretty highly troubled. Also a little bit from Texas, West Texas through Louisiana into Arkansas. But the danger zone is definitely the Ohio Valley, or just west of it. So looking at COD, there's that weather forecast I'm telling you. Here's the circle. There's some high clouds, boy. Looking at the lower level, the heat is finally moving west with this big storm. Put it in play, and you'll see the low pressures going Nebraska up into the Great Lakes area, and that Illinois, all that area seems to be the danger zone right there. Looking at the upper levels, the dryness you can see is over Texas behind this big front. And the west, coming through Cali into AZ, where I'm at, there is some moisture. It's super, super windy. I feel for everybody who's going to be east, because it is windy. We've had winds in the last couple of days, just insane. The backside of this low pressure, I think, is doing it. More cold coming out of the north. So let's go ahead and look what's way out west. Yeah, there we go. So this, is that? Nah, because it's moving south. That's, I don't, well, could it be? Uh, it's split. I'll just say that. It's not a Pineapple Express. The Pineapple Express has gone south, but there is some energy coming off of that due to this little bugger right here pushing off and more weather into southern Cal. And this low pressure is going to push that dryness down south and keep us further south. That's upper level. This is the lower level. This dry is going to burn it out, keep it separated. Keep it separated. Yeah, you can see that down here is the real pressure of that. Big talk about El Nino and La Nina. El Nino being a severe El Nino this time next year. So it'll start really showing itself in September. December will really be impacted in January through March. The West Coast and the southern portion of the United States will be flooded with water. So for those who like El Nino versus La Nina, that's good for them. Bad for those who don't. So looking at the dirty right now, you can see all this water pressure. And over the east, you can see that's where it's going. Yeah, up into the Great Lakes area. Canuck Land, he's getting a little, he might get a little reprieve. It's still kind of cold, but he's going to get a little reprieve. Dry air coming in through Texas, Oklahoma, and big storm pushing through from the Alaskan Peninsula there, though. Kind of wild how this cutoff is out here. Huh. I heard big storms happening. So anyway, big hugs, y'all. Remember the morning show. This Friday, I have on there the shit show with Luke Klemmer. Friday, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you don't know what it is, figure it out. It's real talk for real people. He'll have his guest on there, and they'll talk what's what. And if not, then you'll figure it out. Have a good day. And if something should happen, I'll pop on again and share with you what's going on, my anecdotal evidence of how I see things happening, and trying to give you an overall view of what it is, right? So love y'all. Remember, don't get none on you.